If you saved $1 billion every single day for your entire life, you still wouldn't come close to affording the most expensive thing ever.
Then who can? All right, nobody's making $1 billion a day. Nobody, right? Even Elon Musk isn't making $1 billion a day. So why is something so expensive that you can't buy? Oh, wait. I guess you could get together with your billionaire buddies and buy it. I need a couple more, actually. So if there's any of you out there.
But to find out what that is, we'll be going on a journey through the most valuable things in existence, all starting with you.
So what do we think the most expensive thing in the world is? I've never watched this video, so I have no idea. I'm going to say it's like that stuff they mine in Africa that goes in all Apple devices. Like 100 tons of whatever that is. That's the most expensive thing in the world. That's what I reckon. What on earth is that? Hold on, let's have a look. Africa for iPhone. Cobalt. That's the stuff. Cobalt. Sounds delicious. All right, billionaire buddies, let's get together and buy 100 tons of cobalt. Because I reckon that's the most expensive thing. But let's find out.
The raw ingredients needed to make a human cost only $152,000. But if that's out of budget, you could just boil down a pig. Because chemically, you're pretty much the same. They're just slightly tastier. But since you're already fully assembled, the government officially values you at $14.2 million. And they're lowballing you. Because if someone hypothetically harvested all your organs, they could make $45 million. You're pretty expensive. But to find the most—
Is that why people steal organs from people? That's why there's a whole thing in like Southeast Asia where these gap year students go trekking across some jungle and then end up with no kidneys by the end of it. Wow, I didn't know we were so expensive.
expensive thing ever, we need to look at much costlier items, with the next being a well-known painting that became famous for all the wrong reasons. It's 1503 in Italy. A rich silk merchant goes up to a painter and says, "Could you make me a painting of my wife?" "Sure. Give me like 2 weeks." Leonardo da Vinci never fully finished that painting, but he actually sold it right before he died to the King of France, and it stayed in the bedrooms of powerful guys until ending up at a museum, where no one cared. Until it got stolen, then found, then taken on a PR campaign, and now this 30-inch plank of wood smeared with colored oil is valued at $1 billion.
No way is the Mona Lisa worth $1 billion. No way. Why hasn't somebody tried to steal it again? $1 billion? Like, all right, if I'm a thief, obviously I'm not a thief, right? And nor are you. You're coming along with the ride with me because we're going to take $1 billion. Let's say normally I like petty crime, I'm stealing cars, things like that, which I would never do if I'm going to risk my life. Well, risk jail time, right, for stealing or boosting a car or robbing somebody's house. I'm going to rob the real Mona Lisa. I'm going to attempt to do it. Didn't people recently rob the Louvre anyway, but they didn't take the Mona Lisa? We should genuinely do this. You got to risk it for a biscuit, right? And I know if we managed to really actually do this, we wouldn't get the full $1 billion because people know it's stolen. But there are people out there that would want the real thing, and they definitely give us at least 500 million, which is way more than we're going to get for some secondhand Maserati we just stole.
But nature's greatest work of art was found by complete accident. Sir Thomas Major Cullinan dug a hole in the ground and filled it with Africans to mine rocks for him. And in 1905, a diamond was found. And it happened to be the biggest diamond ever. Completely colorless, zero imperfections, the most chemically perfect rock produced by the planet. And the guy who found it was this guy, the mine's manager. He was just going for a stroll when he randomly saw it in the wall, and he got a nice check for it. Then the rock got cut up and shipped in a literal postal box to more white people.
There's no way the manager found it on a little walk. Wink, wink. Yeah. Oh, Brian, that's a nice looking rock you found there. Because I'm your manager, I'm just going to take it. We'll say that you found it. Brian? Who the fuck is Brian? I found it on my walk in the morning. What a turd.
Total value of this rock is estimated at $2 billion, making it the most expensive luxury item ever thanks to its rarity and prestige. But the most expensive land ever is something you would never expect. France owned all this land in 1803, and the United States wanted a little piece of it. So they went over to France with $10 million and said, "Can we buy a little piece of your land?" France's leader and conqueror of Europe, Napoleon, was like, "How about you pay me $15 million?" for the whole thing. Yes? The Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the United States at the cost of 4 cents per acre. This land today is worth thousands per acre, making it widely considered the single greatest land purchase in history, as long as you don't ask the people originally living there. But the Louisiana Purchase wasn't the most expensive.
Imagine selling a piece of land that you never actually owned. You just went there and went, yeah, this is my land now. And there's like tons of people who already live there, tons of natives. You're like, who the f are you? I own this land now. Oui, oui. Je suis Napoleon. And then some other white dudes from Europe come over and go, we've been in the US a while now. We want your French land, eh? I don't know why they sound Canadian. And he's like, what? 15 million. How could you sell something that you didn't own in the first place? Madness. If anybody wants to know, I'm selling a picture of the Mona Lisa for 500 million. I don't own it, but I will.
In history. There was a piece of land that cost way more than the entire American Midwest, and it's this. This plot of land with a parking lot that cost $3 billion. Why did this parking lot cost more than a fifth of the United States? Well, back then, the Louisiana Purchase was a gamble on an uncharted frontier. This modern-day plot of land in the center of one of the most valuable financial districts on Earth, where the government artificially restricts the land supply, was just a much safer investment. Land is valued for its potential, but the houses we put on top of the land are somehow even more expensive. In 2019, a finance guy spent $240 million on a high-altitude hollow brick in New York City that he doesn't even live in. Actually, all of these buildings are half empty, because the rich people buying them are just treating them as investments. If they actually needed a place to stay, they would just do what the richest guy in India did and spend $2 billion erecting their own personal monument that has a dark secret. This is Antilia, the most expensive private residence in the world.
I've seen this in Mumbai. I've been to Mumbai before. I've never been to this house before. I've never been invited, but I'm sure I will be when people find out I have the Mona Lisa. This is like a modern day castle. This is like what happens when money is unchecked. You can just build whatever you want with what. This guy has a 50-story house. What are you doing with a 50-story house?
World, valued today at $4.6 billion. It has a 168-car garage, 3 helipads, a snow room, and the entire thing was built on an orphanage. And if you're wondering,
bro, you could have picked anywhere in Mumbai. You took a bunch of homeless kids who'd finally found a home and evicted them. What's wrong with you? You can't buy the Mona Lisa from me now. I'm
wondering where the orphans went? The house also has 600 servants. There are investments.
At least he gave them jobs. What the f?
There are status symbols, but the most expensive house ever is the hardest to truly value. Its purchase price? £21,000 in 1761. When King George III bought Buckingham House, it was just a little shack for him to store his wife. But after a few hundred years of renovations and millions in state funding, it became a 775-room palace.
I live in London. I've been outside Buckingham Palace. I've never been inside. Too many people.
Its value is estimated at £4.9 billion, but this is just a guess based on its prime location and historical significance. To find something more valuable than any house, we just need to scale up to the most impressive and disastrous structures in the world. Mega projects. The US interstate highway system is the most expensive mega project in history, costing an inflation-adjusted $634 billion. But it was worth it. For every $1 of that cost, it's returned $6 in economic output. This project had a clear problem, a clear plan, and a clear result. Pretty straightforward. In 2021, Saudi Arabia started building a 110-mile line-shaped city made out of Empire State Building tall glass mirrors.
This city looks so cool. I was like, I'm moving to Saudi. I don't even like Saudi. But for this, I'm moving there. It was so futuristic. Imagine living in a mile-long city, although imagine living at one end. Just one of the ends. You have to go so far every day to go see anything. Oh my God. This failed though, didn't it? They ran out of money, or it wasn't feasible, or it was just some stupid ass idea.
Supposed to cost $500 billion and be done by 2030. But now the date is maybe 2080, and the cost is maybe $8.8 trillion. The line will be the most
2080. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to see that. I mean, I could be alive then, but I doubt it. You Saudi.
expensive mega project ever if it actually gets built. If. 45 Mount Everests above all of this is the International Space Station, the most expensive single object ever built by humans. But its cost is the least impressive thing about it. See, legendary mega projects like the pyramids represent what one civilization could do. The ISS represents what every civilization together could do. It took hundreds of thousands of experts from all over the world to manufacture parts that fit together perfectly when assembled in an empty void that would kill a human in 90 seconds. This is the greatest masterpiece ever built by humans, and it shows what can be accomplished when the world comes together. But it's way more costly when the world comes apart. War
Dun, dun, dun.
is pretty expensive. The American Civil War cost so much that to fund it, the government had to invent paper money and the federal income tax. God!
By the way, this is why there are wars. Money. People don't care about taking over land anymore, unless there's a mineral that they want. But they'll just do what the US does and just be like, where's your leader? Where does he live? Oh no, there's a bomb on his house. Oh shit. Go, 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 get him, get him. And they've got him, you know, and then they put him in a helicopter and they give him a Pepsi and cover his eyes. And he's never ever seen again. And then the US owns the mining rights for whatever country. They don't even want the country. They don't want to deal with the people of that country or the governments. They want to control the government and have the mining rights. That's just what happens now. Nobody cares about land. So if there is wars, it's because it makes people a lot of money. War suppliers, people who create guns and bombs and things of that nature, they make a ridiculous amount of money by wars. And this is why there'll always be wars. Not because men can't deal with their egos and aggression, which is also true. But World War II was like the last war that was really fought because of one man's racist ideology and ego. But from like every war since, it's all about money, baby.
Damn it! World War I cost so much that Germany was still paying it off until 2010, and World War II was the most expensive conflict in history. The full global cost of this war has never been calculated, but it involved every major power devoting a majority of their entire economy to destruction. By the end of the war, 70 million were dead, a majority being civilians, and most of the involved countries were in shambles. Military spending as a percentage of GDP has never come close to World War II levels since, and if it ever does, we probably won't be aware. War is pretty expensive. World War II military spending was 25 trillion in today's dollars, but the cost of its destruction is unknown. All the things in this video have value for different reasons, but the most expensive thing
Are we right? Is it cobalt? If it is, you guys owe me like a Happy Meal or something, because not just a hat rack, my friend.
ever is the most unusual. Every single particle has an antiparticle with an opposite charge. When they touch, they annihilate and release energy. A single gram of antimatter could release more energy than 3 Hiroshima bombs. Bananas. Every 75 minutes, an atom in a banana decays, producing one single particle of antimatter. But the particle is so small that if you had one banana for every human that has ever existed, you would have to wait 97 times the age of the universe to produce 1 gram of antimatter. But that still wouldn't work because the banana antimatter particles only exist for 125 picoseconds, which is 1 billionth of a blink. The only way to make a meaningful amount of antimatter is by firing tiny particles at almost the speed of light into a metal rod, then catching the debris in a vacuum. There's currently only one facility that does this, and in its entire existence, it's made less than 10 billionths of a gram of antimatter, which would make enough energy to power a light bulb for 4 hours. Antimatter could be the most efficient energy source ever, and studying it could answer questions about how the universe was formed. But it's so difficult to make that NASA estimates 1 gram would cost 62.5 trillion.
But it's not worth anything if you haven't got enough of it. What they've developed so far, make a light bulb turn on for 4 hours, great, yeah. If they keep on the same trajectory, they're just going to end up like maybe lighting a small city for 2 seconds. It's not worth anything. Unless they can develop and build on it. But if they don't at the moment, it's not worth that. Now, 100 tons of cobalt, that's worth some money. So I might be wrong. But you know what? I'm also right.
But if we ever somehow managed to get a gram of antimatter, wouldn't the most expensive thing be whoever owns the antimatter? Which would probably be a country, maybe the United States, which is already worth 180 trillion. But then, the Earth is worth 5 quadrillion. And now that we're in space, there are asteroids floating around with quintillions worth of gold and platinum. And the sun is made of gas worth 30 nonillion. The universe is filled with an infinite amount of wealth, all of which we got for free.
All right, new plan, guys. We're taking the Mona Lisa, still part of the plan. We're going to get 500 million. We're going to build a rocket ship. We are going to go into space. We're going to find one of these meteors, mine it a little bit. We'll get Bruce Willis and Affleck. We'll get the whole crew. We're going to mine a meteor. We're going to make so much money.
See me on way out of here too far. Ash really got my ass. Bitch so pretty, look better. Popping on Susan, she calling me daddy. Walking on shit, trying to look like this. Came out the collar, they never made a swagger. Security bank.